All right. This will be day 6. Here's my day 5 recap. Um, the Pacific Northwest and West in general starting to get a little better. Little tiny mistake right about there, but that's not too bad right there. Midwest got a lot better actually. I think I made Arkansas just a little bit too fat, and then so Louisiana, the upper Louisiana, got a little fat there. But uh, like I said, this whole thing's a work in progress. Illinois, Indiana got a little better. This angle here is a little too steep between Indiana and Kentucky. It should be a little bit more gradual, I guess. But we're working kind of west to east, getting a little better and better every day on the west side, and hopefully that the east will kind of follow. I did a little bit of practicing. I don't know if y'all can see this at all, but a little bit of practicing. This is in pencil, but I did a little bit of practicing of the Ohio Valley area, kind of Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and West Virginia actually, especially. Kind of trying to figure out kind of how those rivers look, because like, a lot of those boards are defined by rivers. Really hard to draw those well. So that's a lot of guesswork going to be happening over there. Even today, actually, even as I just practiced this about 5 minutes ago. So day 6, let's do it. Do that. Here we go. Okay, as always, we're going to be striving to do this on one piece of paper, and also trying to get that nice little kind of a U-shaped curve at the top there. So start with Washington again. As always, trying to not to do Squashington. Okay, not too bad of a start there, Washington and Oregon. Let's get. This is what I usually do anyway here. Try to draw like the top parts of each border on the next few states here, just to give myself a little bit of a guide. Like I said, I don't use an actual guide here for this at all, but I do kind of want to, much as possible, kind of set myself up for success. I don't want to just go willy-nilly drawing whole states at once. Kind of want to go a little gradually. So, all right, like we said, like we did yesterday, I kind of split the northwest or northeast border of Idaho into kind of 3 sections here. The straight section coming down, and then a little bit kind of in, almost like an ellipse there. There's a flat section here. The little peak kind of does this. And then there's the section that kind of juts in from Montana. Does that. That's actually pretty good. All right, Montana going across is about a 2-to-1 ratio, I believe, and actually this will be good for doing Wyoming as well. Wyoming is about 3-to-4, so we're gonna do about that. And actually, I think this will be pretty good. There we go. I think that's about as well as I've done the Pacific Northwest there. So, not resting on my laurels just yet, but we're pretty happy so far here. All right, Utah, I believe, is also about 4-to-3, going north to south, and it does have basically straight borders. So, Utah, I think it's a little thin, but that's okay. Or it's a little, how you say, short. Not too bad though. Okay, we're gonna go that, Nevada, and this is just about a 45-degree angle, I believe. So let's see, kind of imagining here. Okay, and again, it doesn't quite meet there. It just kind of does this little notch there. Okay, Four Corners area. Keep that one. Colorado's a little bit longer, but not by that much. That's basically a rectangle, so we can just draw that right now. It's a little small, but that's because I made Utah a little too short. It's okay. No mistakes, only happy accidents. Alright, California, let's get that West Coast drawn here. Go. Down, get wider, 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 wider. And let's meet. There we go. And there's the little bulge there right around the LA area. That's pretty good. Okay. Arizona coming down. Kind of a short section. It's about a third of the way across the state. And then comes straight up to California to complete the Mexican border over there. Okay. New Mexico now. I believe these first two steps take up about half the state. And that last one kind of takes up the whole rest of it. And remember this time that Oklahoma does jut into Colorado a little bit. Oklahoma and Colorado do share an actual, like a meaningful land border. It's not a huge land border. It's less than 100 miles, like less than 50 miles, I think. But it's there, so we gotta make sure we account for that. Okay, Panhandle about the same width as that guy there, maybe a little wider. And then it comes down not quite halfway before it kind of starts, before the Red River kind of meets it. Okay. Let's continue that Oklahoma border there. That's going to be Nebraska, Kansas. About there and about there-ish. And we'll do North and South Dakota. They're about the same size. So there we go. All right, let's see if we can get Texas right today. Let's get this over with. Okay, so on this left part of Texas, this little triangle area here, I've been getting a little better at drawing it, but basically it goes like 45-degree angle, most like halfway down, and then it kind of turns almost into a circle. So it kind of does that, and then it goes back up into like a peak, a little bit into the Panhandle, kind of maybe a third of the way across, and then it starts to go down. So we're gonna leave that there as it is. Okay, now into Texas's Beer Gut. Alright, it's kind of just wavy, slight angle down. And my guide is that it's a little more than 3 panhandles across all the way. So like here, here, and then like to here. So we're gonna... That's basically Oklahoma, actually. And then the rest of that's Louisiana. Okay, so just a little bit there for Oklahoma. We'll leave the little room there. Texas comes down, and then Louisiana kind of juts in a little bit, actually, before it hits the coast. And I believe Texas's Beer Gut kind of basically coincides with this wave there, so we're gonna do just that. And kind of come in a little bit, and I'm trying to remember the shape of this. It kind of bottoms out down here, but then it's like a circle. Houston kind of has a little bay there, or Galveston, and then basically it's like most of a circle, actually, or it's like about a third of a circle. It's not... Okay, not too bad. I've done better, but I think mostly with a guide. I think I just need to make this a little less fat. So like if this comes up kind of a little bit at a steeper angle instead of that, and then it kind of peaks there. So we can do better, but that's not too bad at all. Okay, and then Louisiana kind of comes across. Kind of same deal before it hits before Mississippi hits it, kind of tapers off a little bit, and then comes basically straight across from Mississippi. Okay, a little bit of Mississippi kind of goes into it there, little Gulf Coast straight border. And then Louisiana has this little bay that kind of comes out of it, so it has a little more even, so that's not bad. Okay. Let's get a little more Midwest here. I'm just kind of stalling for time a little bit at this point. So I'm trying to remember what Arkansas exactly does. It does it goes a little more straight up, and then it kind of tapers in before it hits Mississippi's boot heel. So we're gonna do that. It kind of does jut into Oklahoma a little bit. All right, Kansas has like a straight border for like half of it, and then it kind of juts in and does that because Missouri kind of pushes into it a little bit at the top. And then the same for Nebraska, actually. It does kind of that number there. All right. Not bad so far here, I think. All right, South Dakota. Let's do the Iowa border there a little bit. Iowa does not touch Kansas. And then Missouri does touch Oklahoma, I believe, just a little bit. These borders are all offset just a little tiny bit there. There we go. Okay. All right, let's get this Dakota action here. Minnesota, it does. I'm trying to think of the western border of Minnesota, what exactly it does. And let's stall for some time while I do North Dakota's northern border, which is just Canada, and it's just straight across. Okay. It's not exactly a straight border with Minnesota. It's like largely straight, but it's not quite there. I'm just gonna hand wave it there. And then, all right, let's draw that. Okay, I think Arkansas does get a lot wider than what I just gave it. And again, I think I made the southern border of it a little bit too small, or a little bit too large, so that's okay. All right, Missouri has that little kind of the boot heel, and it goes further east and then comes straight up. That's where it hits Kentucky. And then it kind of angles up, and St. Louis kind of comes out of it a little bit, like a pimple. Iowa. Okay, and this is the part where I get a little screwy. So Mississippi. It's gonna be Tennessee. Gets a little wider for Illinois. Okay, we'll kind of save the northern part of it because I'm actually going to use Michigan as a bit of a guide, which is dangerous because I don't actually do Michigan very well right now. So we're gonna see how that goes for us here. All right, let's see. Illinois. It goes down to St. Louis and then tapers in a little bit. Indiana. Doesn't come up quite as high north as Illinois does, so the width is about the same. So we're gonna do that, and it goes like most of the way down before, basically where Illinois' border stops being straight. This eastern border also stops being straight. So Yeah, and then it goes across and then kind of gradually down. I don't remember what, I think that's the Ohio River actually. Okay, there we go, not bad. Starting to take shape a little bit. Okay, let's see. Michigan, it kind of leans in actually. Okay, then Ohio kind of does something like that. Okay, now Minnesota's going to be a little skinny today, but that's okay. And Wisconsin is actually going to be a little tall. Okay, Minnesota, easily my worst state so far, probably. It's okay though. Let's see. Do the Yoopers. I'm sure get the Yoopers in there. Okay, and then Michigan. There's this little leaf of Lake Michigan here, and there's a secondary leaf, like kind of that basically corresponds with it at the northern part of Michigan, basically the northern tip of it. Kind of like that. Okay. Let's see. Continuing our journey eastward. Here we go. Get a little Bama in there. Georgia. Georgia does touch North Carolina. Kind of like that, basically. Kind of estimating Tennessee a little bit. Go, and then let's get Virginia up in here a little bit here. Okay, a little bit of Pennsylvania there. And then Maryland kind of does. I'm always terrible at drawing my own home states, funnily enough. Okay, so Maryland has this bit here, and then kind of comes down for the Chesapeake Bay. And then Delaware kind of juts up a little bit before it gets to, and goes into Pennsylvania here. And there's actually a little bit of the Delmarva Peninsula that belongs to Virginia. So there we go. Okay, go Virginia has a little bit there, and then kind of does that. All right, here we go with Pennsylvania. Rest of Pennsylvania, here we go. Basically straight across. It has like two little bulges on the right side. One for or where New Jersey kind of nestles into it. So, and New York up top. So here we go, New Jersey here. Go like that. And then Long Island kind of does that number there. All right, New York is basically straight on the right side there, but all right, here. Let's try to figure out upstate. It kind of goes straight and then actually kind of doubles back a little bit before it. That's about as good as I've done with that. So we're gonna be happy with that one. All right, Massachusetts and Connecticut go not quite halfway up, and Vermont is actually wider than I gave it credit for before. So we're gonna try to reflect that a little bit. And then New Hampshire, which does have a coastline, and actually goes a little further north than Vermont. Okay, we go there. Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, and then Maine. Maine is one of the weirdest states to draw for me, actually, because it don't quite always get the shape right. So it does have a straight border. I usually start with that now. So going straight up and then kind of across. And this one here basically does something similar, but it kind of comes out a little more. So just kind of a little guesswork there. Okay, and then inset. All right, and then Alaska actually, so it does something funny here that I never really noticed until now. It kind of has another peninsula at the bottom that I did not know about, kind of like that, before it goes into the Aleutians. So we're going to draw that real quick, and then kind of the Aleutians there. It goes a little further probably, but I'm in this. Okay, and then does that and has another peninsula like that. All right, so probably about as well as it done. It needs to be a little bit taller, but not too bad. Now one day I promise I will draw the Hawaiian Islands properly, but there we go. Day 6. I think that's my best one yet. Let's see, we're looking up here. Minnesota's a little too skinny, but so I could definitely make basically this entire column here a little bit wider, I think. And that's probably one of the bigger improvements I can make. I can also make the northern border of Louisiana a little skinnier, because Arkansas, it does kind of come out a little more than I kind of gave it credit for. But I fixed Oklahoma from yesterday. The Ohio Valley looks better than it ever has before, so I'm pretty happy with that one. The Pacific Northwest is basically there, I think. So I think we're going to start moving on to Midwest, try to get better at that, and then try to get the Ohio Valley and the Northeast better. This is progressing pretty nicely. So as always, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.